Erev Tov Rabotai, Erev Shabbat Shalom, Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. This week is Parashat Re'eh. Re'eh is Rashi Tevot, Re'eh Elul Higia. Yeah, it's always, Parashat Re'eh is always the Shabbat before or the Shabbat of Rosh Chodesh Elul, as it is this year. What's interesting is, Maran Zichron Bracha used to say that Chodesh Elul is a tremendous chesed to Am Yisrael, and not to the nations of the world, and he explains why. He says, Mashal lema davar domeh. Once there was a person who committed a crime, and as soon as he committed the crime, he was caught by the authorities. He got arrested and put into jail. And right after they brought him to central booking, and as soon as they put him in jail, they brought him in front of the magistrate judge, and the judge, bangs the gavel, and he says, "What do you have to say for yourself? You're hereby charged with this and this and this and this. How do you plead?" And everything was just such a flurry, and he didn't really get what was going on, and the judge was getting agitated. He said, "Tov, guilty," and he threw him in the slammer for who knows how long. That's one kind of guy. Then there's another kind of criminal. Says once, let's say there's another kind of criminal. They arrested him, they put him in jail. They said, "Listen, let me tell you something. You have a court date with the judge in 30 days from now. Okay? In the meantime, you have the right to an attorney. We're going to get you, we'll try to get you an attorney, but not just anyone. We'll get you an attorney that's on good terms with the judge. You know those relationships between the judge and the lawyer and whatever. So we'll get you one of those. Every day during those 30 days, he gets a visit in the cell from the lawyer, and he says, "Listen, this judge, he likes when you say this. He doesn't like when you say that. Plead like this. Plead like." Every day they're rehearsing. Okay, then what are you going to say when you say? They're practicing, rehearsing for 30 days. By the time the court case comes, who do you think has a better shot? Obviously, the second guy. He's already more. There's no guarantees, but he's certainly more prepared than the first guy. Says Maran Zichron Bracha, who gets judged on Rosh Hashanah? There's a Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah Daf Tet Zayin. The Mishnah says that on Rosh Hashanah, Kol ba'e olam ovrim lefanav kivnei maron. The entire creation, Jews, non-Jews, animals, wildlife, everybody passes before HaKadosh Baruch Hu for judgment. But what's the difference between us and them? We know about it. They don't. Our chances are much better because since we knew about it 30 days before and we were preparing, and guess what? You know who the judge himself, can you imagine, go back to the mashal, imagine the judge comes to the guy in the jail cell and he says, "Listen, okay, off the record, I'm going to be your judge, okay? And if I like this and this and this and this, right? Tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah. I'm going to be your judge. Just stick to the text and you'll be fine." Can you imagine that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvodo v'atzmo. Kadosh Baruch Hu he's an amazing blend of both father and king. Now the king is the judge. Kadosh Baruch Hu yoshev al kisei din. But Hashem is also the father. So as a result of that, Hashem says, "Yeah, I'm the judge, but I'm also your father. So I'll give you tips. I'll give you insight." Right? You ever heard of insider trading? Mm-hmm. Yeah, inside information. He says, all you need to do is this and this and that. Like the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avot, "Asa mitzvah achat, kana lo piraklit echad. Avar avera achat, kana lo kategor echad." During this time, Hashem says, focus. You have 30 days before, and it's sometimes people lose sight of Chodesh Elul because they have a very shallow perception of Rosh Hashanah, Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, Yom Kippurim. What do I mean by shallow? Shallow means, a person thinks of Rosh Hashanah, it's nice, it's shul, daven, shofar, apple and honey, which is all wonderful things. But I don't want to say most, but many, many people fail to have the understanding, the perception that their life is very much on the line. Their life is on the line. Their families' lives and health and parnasah and zivugim and shlom bayit and all of the other most important things in life are very, very much on the line. And this is the day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will decide for the coming year. There's a lot of things that from year to year, a lot of things change. A lot of people who were here, last year weren't here this year. They're gone. A lot of people who were healthy got sick. A lot of tzarot. All of those things and more were decreed on Rosh Hashanah. People sometimes don't realize it. Chas v'shalom, I've seen people like this. Chas v'shalom, people who are actually on trial in front of basar vadam, in front of just a human flesh and blood judge. Yeah. First of all, you think all the judges who sit on the bench, they're all, stellar or midot. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on the morning's coffee.
Exactly. And when people arrive to trial, I was one time with somebody. Yeah, they asked me to come for moral support to a sentencing of a person, of a Jew in criminal court. So he was very, very scared. Shit, mamash, scared. Yeah. Huh? No, the defendant. So they asked me to come, and I wasn't even on trial. I was sitting, in the gallery. They have places for people to sit, and I was scared. You just sit there, you're scared. I was thinking to myself, it was Chodesh Elul. I remember it. It was a few years ago during Chodesh Elul, and it was such an eye opener for me. I said, "Wow, look at this. This is Baruch Hashem." The guy got off very, very easy. I said, Baruch Hashem. When I was there, I said a bunch of tefillot. There's a few things that you can do, also a bunch of kavanot, in order to, to mellow down the judge. Huh? I did a bunch of things when I was there just to help Miskin. The guy could have been in jail for years. But you see, the guy was terrified. Yeah. Why? And that's not even. They didn't put him on death row. Yeah, he wasn't going to die. Avalma. It's a very scary thing. It's a very, very frightening thing. People sometimes don't realize that, and this is all in what? This is basar vadam in this world that. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can do good to you or bad to you or otherwise to you, besides without Kadosh Baruch Hu's express permission. Can you imagine entering a Kadosh Baruch Hu's courtroom? Can you imagine? Now, in Olam HaEmet, it's already too late. It happens to us every year, but most people don't connect with that thought. You don't see, in the earlier generations, you see people during Chodesh Elul. And there was a tangible fright. People had this feeling that, my life is on the line. You see, even from the words of the poskim, Avnei Nezer, Chatam Sofer, sometimes they write in their tshuvot, I can't, even b'divrei Torah, I can't write long, I can't write very lengthily on this issue, because now it's Chodesh Elul, I'm busy with my own personal avodah right now. Can you imagine? Sheilot u'tshuvot, he's not talking about politics, he's writing Sheilot u'tshuvot ba'alacha. He's saying, I can't write too long. I can't spend too much on this, too much time, because now is Chodesh Elul. What does Chodesh Elul mean? I have to do everything in my power. I have to make sure that, me and my family were taken care of. How do you do that? Person has to, there's another Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Torah u'ma'asim tovim kitris bifnei ha'pur'anut. Torah and good deeds, Gemilut Chasadim and things of that nature, they're like a shield in front of Pur'anut. HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself says, use Chodesh Elul. What do you think? We have all the Ashkenazim have shofar and Sfaradim have slichot and all of these things that we do during Chodesh Elul. People think that they're an end. I said slichot. Slichot is not an end. Slichot is a means to an end. Shofar is not an end. It's a means to an end. The slichot, right? It's not a checklist. The slichot are meant for a person. If you really focus on the words of the slichot, you'll see we're coming clean before HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all of our avonot, all the tachanunim, all the tefillot. Nachon, it's nice tunes and stuff like that, but sometimes, it's funny. I've seen many memes about this where they contrast Sephardic slichot and Ashkenazi slichot. I don't know if you ever participated in Ashkenazi slichot. It's so, not only the words, so different than the tunes and everybody. By Sfaradim, they usually say that Sephardi slichot is like a rock concert, And Ashkenazi slichot is like a funeral. It's like a lehavdil elef rafei avdalot. It's very, very different styles. We have to understand even the tunes of the slichot of the Sfaradim, Ashkenazim too, but especially those of the Sfaradim. It's, from generations before. It's meant for a person to break his heart. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that feeling. Slichot used to be a thing. There was only one minyan for slichot. If you ask elderly people that came from whatever countries they came from, they didn't have mass-produced slichot minyanim wholesale. Right? They didn't have that. There was one minyan for slichot at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the grandfathers and the fathers used to grab their kids by the ear at 3 in the morning, pull them out of bed, and the whole town was at the 3-4 a.m. slichot, and that was the end of that. That's what it was, because there was an element of yirat shamayim in the air. How could you stay sleeping? Yeah, that's the first words of the slichot. Ben adam ma lecha nirdam. It's borrowed. That text is borrowed from pasuk in Yonah. They told Yonah Navi when he was sleeping in the belly of the ship. They told him, "Ma lecha nirdam kum kirai lelohecha." He says, "Don't." And when did they tell that to Yonah? They told him, "Wake up. We're all about to die. Now's not time. There's plenty of time to sleep when you're dead, but you're not dead yet. So what? Pray." Says, "Kum kirai lelohecha." That's exactly what slichot is. Yeah, you ain't dead yet. Pray to stay alive. To stay alive one more year. You come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and a lot of people miss the boat. Unfortunately, they don't. They really don't chop the. If you really look at all of the text of the slichot, it's unimaginable how deep and how really it hits home. Anenu Elohei Avraham Anenu, Aseh leman shemecha v'chusa l'Yisrael amecha. All the basic theme of the slichot, you have to realize. If you have to sum up slichot in 10 words or less, it is: we deserve nothing. Hashem, you've done chesed until now with us. Please keep doing chesed. That's what it is. Ka'ani hashoel al hapetach. Sometimes a person prepares. Now, this is the wrong kind of preparation during Chodesh Elul for Yamim Noraim. A person takes inventory of all of the mitzvot u'ma'asim tovim and the zechuyot that he has from the previous year. He makes a list, right? This is like a reverse cheshbon nefesh. So what does he do? He takes inventory, and now he says, you know what? I'll spend the whole Chodesh Elul coming up with this list. On Rosh Hashanah, I'll come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with my list. Hashem, you owe me another year of health, happiness, prosperity, zivugim and everything. Why? Because look at my checklist. And tefillah b'tzibur, and Torah, and gemilut chasadim, and kashrut, and Shabbat, and tahara. Check. So you see, Hashem, it's a barter that is so wrong. It's such a distorted way to come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's so wrong, because as the Navi says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Mi hikdimani va'ashalim. Yeah, who do you think Hashem says? What are you going to say? Yeah, the Midrash says based on this pasuk. What are you going to say? I put on tefillin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who gave you an arm? Yeah. What are you going to say? I put up a mezuzah. Who gave you a house? Yeah. I gave my son a brit milah at 8 days old. Who gave you a kid? Yeah. Look around. There's plenty of homeless people. There's plenty of infertile people. There's plenty of Hashem says there's absolutely nothing in this world that you can tell me that you deserve something for, because any mitzvah or any ma'aseh tov that you did is always contingent upon my chasadim with you. So that cannot be the battle plan. That won't work. The way to gain another year of life is when a person comes before HaKadosh Baruch Hu seeking nothing, meaning I deserve nothing. Hashem, let's get something straight. Everything that I've done is completely insufficient relative to what you expect of me. If we start talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about our mitzvot u'ma'asim tovim, you know how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu can tell us back? But look, you're deficient here and you're deficient here, and even the mitzvot that you did, it was done for kavod, and it was done for ta'ava, and it was done for this and that and this and that. What can a person tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What can a person say? Yeah, I excelled in this. Hashem says, even the things that you think that you excelled in, you didn't. it's a real limud. Person has to come ke'ani shoel al petach, like an ani. Yeah, sometimes there's two kinds of people who come to collect in shuls or anywhere. There's an ani who comes, and he's sometimes, unfortunately, it comes, when they become immune to it, but they become a little bit brazen, right? Like they deserve it, and sometimes you even give them something, and it's not enough, and they ask you for more. Does that give you a cheshik to give? Of course not. Then you have another person. Sometimes when a person comes and he's a real misken, you can tell. You can tell that the person is, in Yiddish there's a word that's called tzibrochen. You know what tzibrochen means? It's completely broken, downtrodden, and says, I have nothing, please help me. Over there you're much more inclined, you feel much more of a cheshik to give that kind of person. The game plan for Yamim HaNoraim has to be obviously bettering ourselves during Chodesh Elul, but constantly reminding ourselves, like one of the first psukim also we say in Slichot is based on it's a pasuk in Daniel. Lecha Adonai HaTzedakah Velanu Boshet HaPanim. Tzedakah is not only charity. Tzedakah is a reference to justice. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, justice is yours, and all we have to show for your justice and your commandments is what? Boshet HaPanim. Only shame. The only thing, there's nothing that we can say. Hashem says, wow. And we can't survive without your continued chasadim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says, well, we don't know what Hashem is going to say. But possibly, maybe we can, possibly persuade HaKadosh Baruch Hu to think, if you're so contingent upon me, you need me so much, you're so worthless without me, then you know what? I've continued I've given you chasadim until now. Let's continue. Let's extend it. Let's prolong it one more year, and then another year, and then that has to be the plan. That has to be what Chodesh Elul is all about. It's a time for cheshbon nefesh, but not a cheshbon nefesh where a person thinks that he's worth something, because we're really all miketanan ve'ad gedonam. From the smallest to the biggest in Am Yisrael, relative to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really expects of us, we never even reach a fraction of Hashem's expectations for us. So it's really, really, really a huge limud to remember during Chodesh Elul. Slichot is important, but not as an end, as a means to an end. It's something, it should tug at the heartstrings to get a person mamash to break himself, to be chozer b'tshuva. Yeah, it's been a hard year, and there's so many things that we've done to anger and disappoint HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And can you imagine causing a Kadosh Baruch Hu, God Almighty, disappointment? It's such a bad feel. Everybody, we all do at some stage or another. But just think for a second, not while you're doing an Avirah, but afterwards. Think besides for the Avirah, the sin itself, think about what it means to cause Melech Malchei Malachim to be disappointed in us. It's such a terrible feeling. It's a rotten feeling. How can Kadosh Baruch Hu gives me everything? This is the first perek in Tomer Devorah. He speaks about this. How can I'm the recipient of so much good and bounty from Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I'm turning the tables and making him disappointed, angering him, transgressing his commandments? How can a person do that? Chodesh Elul is where. That's why, if a person can, there's a few classic Musar Sfarim to be learned during Chodesh Elul, especially Sha'arei Teshuvah, Rabbeinu Yonah. That's a classic, and also Tomer Devorah, Ramak, Rabbeinu Moshe Cordovero. Tomer Devorah speaks about extensively the 13. How many times during the Yamim HaNoraim it's all about Yud Gimel Midot? Nachon? In Slichot we say Yud Gimel Midot 5 times. 5 times in Slichot. Then by the Tachanun you say it again. On Yamim HaNoraim, Yom Kippur, we say Yud Gimel Midot 26 times. It's all, the Yamim Noraim focus on the Yud Gimel Midot. You have to know, in order for the Yud Gimel Midot to be effective, you have to know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu operates. If you know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Midot operate, and then we emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we bring that shefa, we bring that abundance upon ourselves. Hashem says, wow, you emulate my Midot? That's a good way, that's a segula, to be the recipient of my Midot of Rachamim as well. It's a tremendous, tremendous thing, Rabbotai. So, without further ado, Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul, we'll take a break and we'll start the Tanan Darim. Baruch Adonai La'olam. Amen.